You don't just want to be loved. You want to finally feel safe. So when someone gives you attention, you hold on a little tighter. You reply a little faster. You forgive things you said you never would. And somehow, the more you want a relationship to work, the faster it seems to slip away. If you ever wonder why the people who crave love the most often struggle to keep it, this isn't about bad luck or being too emotional. There's a hidden psychological pattern that makes love feel like something you have to chase instead of something you can receive. And once you understand it, you'll start seeing your relationships and yourself in a completely different way. Most people believe that wanting love is a strength, and it can be. But the surprising part is that when love becomes something you desperately need instead of something you freely experience, your behavior begins to change in ways you don't even notice. You stop trying to build a relationship. You start trying to protect it. There's a big difference. The fear of losing love can quietly become stronger than the joy of experiencing it. Maybe you check your phone over and over, wondering why they haven't replied. Maybe you replayed a conversation, searching for the exact moment you might have said something wrong. Or maybe you stayed in a relationship that hurt you simply because the thought of losing it felt even worse. If you're still watching, there's a good chance this feels familiar. And if one person came to mind while hearing this, stay with me, because what you're experiencing isn't a personality flaw. It's a pattern your mind learned long before that relationship ever began. That's where attachment psychology gives us an important clue. As children, we don't just learn what love feels like. We learn what love requires. If affection was unpredictable, if approval had to be earned, or if emotional closeness came and went without warning, your brain adapts. It creates what we can think of as an emotional smoke alarm. A smoke alarm is supposed to warn you when there's danger. But if it's too sensitive, it starts reacting to harmless things. Steam from the shower, burnt toast, nothing that's actually life-threatening. Your emotional system can work the same way. A delayed text suddenly feels like rejection. A quiet evening feels like emotional distance. A small disagreement feels like the beginning of the end. Not because those things truly mean the relationship is falling apart, but because your nervous system learned that losing connection could happen at any moment. Your reactions make perfect sense once you understand what your brain has been trying to protect. This is why reassurance never seems to last. Someone tells you they love you. For a moment, you feel calm. Then a few hours later, your mind whispers, but what if they change their mind? So you look for more proof, more messages, more affection, more certainty. The problem isn't that you need too much reassurance. The problem is that reassurance can't heal a nervous system that never learned to feel safe. That's why no amount of love from another person ever feels like enough. Here's what most people never realize. You're not chasing love. You're chasing relief. Relief from uncertainty. Relief from abandonment. Relief from the fear that if someone stops choosing you, maybe you were never enough in the first place. Those are completely different things. Love asks to be shared. Fear asks to be guaranteed. And fear can never be fully satisfied. That's why people who want love the most often become experts at watching other people. You notice tiny changes in their tone. You analyze short replies. You wonder if they're pulling away. Slowly, your attention leaves your own emotional world and becomes completely focused on theirs. Instead of asking, how do I feel in this relationship? You begin asking, how do they feel about me? That single shift changes everything. Because the moment your peace depends on someone else's emotions, your identity begins to follow them. If these videos help you understand yourself instead of simply giving advice, consider subscribing. Every week, we explore the hidden psychological patterns behind relationships, emotions, and human behavior. Now, here's where this pattern becomes almost invisible. Imagine holding a rubber band. The more one side pulls away, the harder the other side wants to pull back. Many relationships work exactly like that. When someone becomes emotionally distant, you naturally try harder. You send another message. You explain yourself again. You become more available. You hope that if they can just understand how much you care, everything will go back to normal. But something deeper is happening. Your behavior isn't only about them. It's about what distance means to your brain. To someone with a secure emotional foundation, distance usually means they probably need space. To someone whose emotional smoke alarm is always active, distance feels like, I'm about to lose them. The same situation. Two completely different realities. And that's why two people can experience the exact same relationship in completely different ways. Your reality isn't created only by what happens. It's shaped by what your nervous system expects to happen. What happens next changes everything. Because the biggest problem isn't that you're afraid of losing someone. It's why losing them feels like losing yourself. And once you understand a hidden connection, you'll never look at love the same way again. Here's the hidden connection. For many people, the deepest fear isn't that someone will leave. It's the belief that if they do, there won't be enough of you left. That's the moment love quietly becomes tied to identity. Instead of thinking, this relationship matters to me, your mind starts believing, this relationship defines me. And when that happens, every disagreement feels bigger than it really is. Every moment of distance feels personal. Every goodbye feels like proof that you were never enough. The moment your worth depends on being chosen, every goodbye starts to feel like a verdict. This is why breakups can feel overwhelming. You're not only grieving the person, you're grieving the version of yourself that only existed when they were there. Psychologists sometimes describe this as an emotional blueprint. Without realizing it, your brain carries old expectations into every new relationship. If love once felt inconsistent, your mind begins expecting inconsistency. If affection had to be earned, you keep trying to earn it. If you had to fight for attention, calm relationships can actually feel unfamiliar. That's why some people mistake emotional intensity for emotional connection. Healthy love feels steady. Unhealthy love feels unpredictable. But when your emotional blueprint is built around unpredictability, steady can feel boring, while chaos feels exciting. Your heart doesn't always chase what's healthy. It often chases what's familiar. If you're still watching, there's a good chance you've blamed yourself for this. You probably wonder why you keep repeating the same patterns, even when you know they hurt. The answer isn't a lack of intelligence. It's that your nervous system is trying to solve today's relationships using yesterday's survival strategies. And survival strategies aren't designed to create peace. They're designed to prevent pain. Once you understand that, something begins to shift. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And you start asking, what has my mind been trying to protect all these years? That question changes everything, because awareness is where old patterns begin to lose their power. So, how do you start changing this pattern? Not by forcing yourself to stop caring, not by pretending you don't need love, but by teaching your nervous system that love isn't the only place where safety exists. The first shift is simple. Pause before you pursue. The next time someone becomes distant, don't immediately react. Instead, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is it fear, loneliness, rejection? Simply naming an emotion helps calm the brain's emotional alarm system. Imagine seeing that someone hasn't replied for hours. Instead of sending another message, you recognize the anxiety. Sit with it for a few minutes and let the emotion settle before deciding what to do. The situation hasn't changed, but your relationship with it has. The second shift is learning to separate your needs from your identity. Wanting reassurance doesn't make you weak. Wanting closeness doesn't make you needy. The problem begins when you believe those needs determine your worth. Your needs deserve understanding. Your worth doesn't need permission. Your needs deserve compassion. Your worth requires no approval. The third shift is returning to yourself before looking for someone else to complete you. Spend time doing things that remind you who you are outside of a relationship. Read a book, take a walk, learn a skill, call a friend, write your thoughts down. Not as a distraction, but as a reminder that your identity exists even when nobody is texting you. Little by little, your brain learns something it may have never fully believed before. Connection is beautiful, but it isn't survival, and that's the foundation of secure love. The strongest relationships are built by two whole people, not two frightened people trying to complete each other. If someone came to mind while watching this, send them this video. Sometimes understanding begins when someone helps us put feelings into words. Here's the quiet truth that many people spend years searching for. The person who wants love the most isn't broken. They're usually someone who learned that love could disappear without warning. So they started holding on tighter, trying harder, giving more, hoping that if they became enough for everyone else, they would finally feel enough for themselves. But lasting love doesn't begin when you become perfect. It begins when you stop asking another person to prove your value, because no relationship can carry that weight forever. Love isn't meant to convince you that you're worthy. It's meant to be shared by two people who already believe they are. If this video helped you understand something about yourself, let me know in the comments by writing, I'm choosing understanding over fear. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. And if you're new to Dr. Wayne's Psychology, consider subscribing. Every week, we explore the hidden psychological patterns behind relationships, attachment, self-worth, and human behavior. Not to tell you what to do, but to help you understand why you feel the way you do. Because the day you stop chasing love to prove your worth is often the day you finally become capable of receiving it.